Hello YouTube, hi, hello, long time no see. I'm really sorry about taking so long to upload another reaction, but hey, here we are now. Today we will be reacting to Reggie, StarCraft X, to Steroids, Slop, become European. Well, let's see how much European we will become, because technically how accurate it is, because I am a European. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this video by Reggie. Reggie is fun. Hopefully, you're looking forward to it too. And yeah, let's get into it. Well then, let us get into the video.
Fellas, I
Hi
have
there,
one
Reggie.
question. Have you ever wanted to explore a legally distinct world with a legally distinct art style, all while using a legally distinct weapon customization system? Well, you're in luck, because I owe an inordinate amount of money to the Canadian Mafia, and if I don't pay up soon, I'm going to get trafficked. Which leads me to my next point. This video is sponsored by STALCRAFT X. STALCRAFT is an open-world extraction shooter fielding tens of thousands of players and plenty of informative reviews. When I read a review that said, and I quote, "the developers need to be shot," I knew I had found something special. So today, we're going to be exploring STALCRAFT X, experiencing its rich community, and answering the important questions, such as, if I was chasing you through the woods naked, could you escape?
No. I don't know, I would be pretty scared if I got chased by a naked person in the woods. Yeah.
Would you even try? But before we...
If I would even try. Well, I'm not into guys, but if I was, then who knows?
Can do any of that, we need to download the game. Just not on Steam. As of writing this review, STALCRAFT has been delisted.
StarCraft X is now on Steam. I can check.
And I can't tell you why. Just know that they aren't telling you everything. This one goes all the way to the top.
I'm gonna come.
But I can assure you that I am doing absolutely everything in my power to continue playing Caves of Quad in the meantime.
The Caves of Cock. God damn it. I should still try to play it more. I did buy it. I did play it for a little bit. And I still remember this set of a video about it. Oh boy. I wonder if the developer still hates that.
After successfully downloading the game client through 3 layers of virtual machines, I organize it into the appropriate folder and begin playing. Quick up layers of virtual machines, I organize it into
Horse dating simulators. Tank dating
the appropriate folder.
Conquest of Elysium 1-5? Conquest of Elysium, that sounds interesting. Games to kill Klepper in.
And begin playing. Quick update. STALCRAFT is now back on Steam. Clearly, my hundreds of carefully worded threats to...
Dear Mastercard CEO, do not hang up on me again. I will kill you. Okay, Reggie. I'll come to that office with an AR-15, a full clip, full automatic AR-15 on November 18 next year at 5:50 p.m. This is specific direct over international or states lines. This is 100% real, not satire. Threat to kill you if you hang up on me again. In no way, shape, or form should this be interpreted as parody or a joke. Again, I would like to reiterate that this is not a joke in the event that it becomes evidence in a legal trial. This game has been on my wishlist for a year and a half. You know what's next on that list? Your fucking head. Don't fuck with me. I'm in ISIS. I support ISIS. I'm a member of ISIS. Okay, I guess this is a joke. Interesting joke. Well, with the recent stuff, it's not a good joke. But hey, this video came up before the recent stuff that happened in America.
The CEO of MasterCard have been well received. The main story of STALCRAFT 2 Wings of Liberty sees you, John STALCRAFT, on a personal quest in rural Dagestan to kill your own son in order to avoid paying child support. Along the way, you will encounter classic characters such as Good Luck Jonathan and Tokyo Sex Wale. For legal reasons, I am required to disclose that none of that was true. In fact, my entire script for this video is not to be trusted. So please...
lie,
Please
deceive.
take everything I say here with a grain of salt. Once you've got the game downloaded, it's time to create a character. Just remember, arbitrary naming conventions exist to stifle creativity, defy tradition,
hell.
become the man you were meant to be.
I'm not lying.
Then you can marvel at your character in the main menu. Unfortunately, the developers only had the budget to allow for 15 degrees of character rotation, but at least we can wiggle the background slightly.
What?
Can somebody say AAA gaming? Now, let's start our first mission. Right off the bat, two things happen. I awake to find myself in Eastern Europe, and as soon as I learn how to move, I attempt suicide via electrocution. These two things are related. Unfortunately, we're in a planned economy, and the electrical grid hasn't worked for the past 50 years, so we have to trudge onward. Eventually, I find my way into a traditional Russian elevator and begin pilfering its inhabitants.
It's probably in Ukraine if it's like parody of Stalker or copy, you know. Maybe I should... No.
I have my first visceral STALCRAFT moment when, after killing several people with an AK-47, I gaze upon their fetid corpses in horror. This man's lips look like surgically reconstructed labia. I stare into the abyss, and the abyss stares into me. I consider trying my luck with the electrical box again, but instead I follow instructions to reach an escape helicopter on the roof. Arriving there, I realize the entire building is collapsing, which seems like a great time to use a sniper. After fighting through the last enemies, we reach the chopper to meet our evac team, at which point you might say, wait a minute, this feels kind of familiar, before promptly getting shot in the face. That's what we get for playing the tutorial. Before we go any further, I need to address the elephant in the room. One of the first things you'll notice about this game is the deeply unsettling art style, because they've blended hyper-realistic faces with the sharp 90-degree angles of a tile floor in a way that the human mind cannot comfortably perceive.
God damn it. Maybe they should choose different style for those faces, probably, but you know, they did, from the looks of it, they did want to make it like a stalker.
Each and every person in this game looks as if they have been subjected to tremendous vacuum pressure to painfully remodel their anatomy into a series of rectangles. And they don't seem too happy about painfully remodel.
Who's this supposed to be? Like, definitely it's parody of someone, but who?
Their anatomy.
Is that supposed to be PewDiePie? Like, I'm only guessing it because of the blonde hair and how it looks
anatomy into a series of rectangles, and they don't seem too happy about it.
If
Every AI has the kind of 1,000-yard stare that silently begs for euthanasia. But no matter how far I shove the barrel of my loaded shotgun into their mouths, I cannot extract even a modicum of human emotion. The naive among us fear creatures of the night, but those burdened with knowledge fear their fellow man above all else. With that out of the way, allow me to explain the gameplay loop. Starting off, we select one of two factions, Stalkers or Bandits. Your choice doesn't matter too much, but if you don't want to become the next victim of the bum alley rapist, I suggest choosing Stalkers. From here, you're dropping into an open world teeming with other players, hostile wildlife, and some very dangerous mutants. You move from outpost to outpost, completing quests and upgrading your gear. When it comes to armor, we've got everything ranging from a $3 million exoskeleton to I'm on my way to kill Samuel Jackson, and each option offers unique advantages against the variety of threats in Chernobyl. For example, if you see a pocket of turbulence...
Wait, what was that, chat?
Against the variety of threats in Chernobyl. For example, if you see a...
What the hell? Reggie.
A pocket of turbulence, don't approach it. This is an anomaly, and best case scenario, it's going to launch you into the air and break both of your legs. Worst case scenario, you're going to be blended. That is as lethal as it sounds. Now listen, I won't lie, this starter zone is basically a preschool with guns. The enemies aren't that difficult, and the most dangerous thing is probably forgetting to turn your night vision goggles off when going inside. However, just like preschools, this zone is important for learning. Learn the weapon upgrade paths. Understand the hierarchy of mold and its greater economic value. And most importantly, realize that all food comes in the form of troughs of slop with names such as hoof-to-the-face meat jelly. What
Okay.
the fuck is going on?
I'm the
Real
bold.
honest
My
input here.
economy, let's
Once
go.
you get outside the starting zone, the game becomes a lot more fun. Because you need to be challenged in
wait.
order to give a shit about grinding 2 hours for a new
was
bolt-action
monolith.
rifle. Without consequences, none of this matters.
monolith.
And let me tell you, the game has consequences. The third zone I encountered was the forest. And the forest is a lot like Detroit, because if you get
Very
aggro from a
compliment.
local, you must kill them. If instead you choose to run, your weakness will be perceived by the very environment itself. And before long, you'll be at the epicenter of a non-consensual gangbang. Also, the entire place is full of
hey,
surprise
what about the compression
trampolines,
music?
which adds an
Second
absurdist
warning.
element of comedy as
think
you
it's
run
second
for your
warning.
life from gangs of wild animals and sex criminals. Speaking of running, that's my
Okay.
next point of feedback. This game has no fast travel system,
Makes
unless you
sense.
consider killing yourself and respawning at the nearest hospital a form of fast travel. This doesn't feel too bad early on.
But here's the question: do you lose the stuff or do you keep the stuff on? Like, is there any? I wonder, is there any detriment to the killing yourself? I cannot brain the words. Punishment for killing yourself. Is there like you lose some money, you lose some gear, you lose something? Well, maybe I should let it play and hear it.
But as your quests push you northward, you're looking at a 30-minute walk if you want to go back to the starting zone. And don't worry, there's just enough wild pigs and environmental hazards to make sure you can't use auto-run. I would personally fillet the entire development team just to be able to sniff the seat of a bicycle in STALCRAFT X. I'm not asking for a lot.
Okay.
I'd probably settle for a goddamn toboggan. Just give me
Toboggans.
something. Technically, the game does have energy drinks and anabolic steroids to make you go faster, but it's only like 3% faster. And if I have to jam another stick of epinephrine into my neck, I'm going to cry. I'm already onboarding a mixture of unregulated stimulants to allow me to
Holy.
carry 150 pounds of copper wire that I stole from the power grid. My body can't take much more.
gypsy.
This is probably a good time to discuss the in-game cash shop. I don't know how it works. It appears to be operating in several currencies and possibly selling a plane. It also features such exciting offers as the letter E. Eventually, I decided to open a loot box, and what did I get? More anabolic steroids. That does
Let's
it.
go.
I'm going to die in these fields. Now, all of that covered the early and mid-game PvE, but
it's
PvP is also a huge part of the game, and I'd like to tell you all about it. But I can't. I have only experienced a small portion because I'm what they call a twink in the classical sense. I go to late game zones, gather the best weapons, and then I come back to the starting area to sit in a bush shooting dozens of new players in the head. They
That's smurfing. Or you could call it a smurfing. Also, honestly, I would love if, any of the Stalker games got mods or, true support for cooperation. Because I do want to play some Stalker with friends. That would be fun. Like, for example, Stalker Gamma to play it with friends. That would be interesting. Like, all the players just doing their stuff on one, save file at the same time, going to missions together and stuff. That would be fun, honestly.
call me the ultimate predator. Whenever I'm not terrorizing a preschool with a bolt-action rifle, I'm losing gunfights to objectively better players with objectively more offensive names. Like it or not, but this is the food chain in action. On the topic of PvP, eruption shelters are a common place to encounter interpersonal violence. The environment of Chernobyl is kind of quirky in the sense that every 40 minutes, a radiation storm covers the entire map and kills hundreds of people. This forces the entire server into a handful of radiation shelters.
Oh, so you have to go to radiation shelters there. Normally you just need to go inside a building. That's all you need to do.
Which can lead to some heated disagreements. I won't lie, I feel a little bad when I see a new player desperately drag themselves into the shelter only for me to shoot them in the face. But in a much more real way, I don't care at all. Because I've been grinding mold for the past 2 hours, and I'll be damned if MILF Hunter 19 thinks he can take it away from me. Apart from that, the player culture is fairly
Can I
reasonable.
choose an instance instead of it being random, burn in hell.
and most people are willing to work together. However, a lot of the player base doesn't speak
Joe
English.
Rogan.
I seen some
So just be prepared to communicate through a complex system of crouching, spamming voice lines, and hitting each other with shovels. This might sound counterintuitive, but once you negotiate your first trade deal simply by throwing screws at a Polish man's head, you'll understand that you are speaking a universal language. All of that covers the general vibe of the game. Now, I'll run you through the main questline experience. The story of STALCRAFT is as follows. In 1986, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant fucking exploded, spewing radioactive fallout into the atmosphere and giving at least 10,000 people cancer. In the following years, random adventurers and scientific researchers looked at this and said, hold on, I can make it way worse. Now, due to human interference, Chernobyl is crawling with mutants, magic artifacts, and mercenaries vying for control. And you're one of them. So here's a rusty submachine gun and a few sticks of anti-radiation chewing gum from the 1980s. Good luck. Depending on which faction you choose, you'll spawn in one of the starting villages. If your first intuition is to find a nearby lake and drown yourself in it, don't bother. No matter how many times I kill myself, I keep waking up in Chernobyl. Hell is a prison of our own creation, so let's make the most of it. Quickly acquainting myself with the townspeople, I find a weapons vendor, a toothless man trying to sell me industrial dehumidifiers, and a probable neo-Nazi. The European realism is astonishing. Above all else, you will quickly realize that every town is full of people with obviously fake names that will try to convince you to commit heinous acts of violence for as much as $12 US. That's if you're lucky. Most of the time, it's just random garbage. And let me tell you, there's something profoundly insulting about spending 20 minutes beating wild pigs to death with a shovel only to get paid in Rubik's Cubes and rolls of toilet paper. But I accept it, because I'm not here to make money. I'm here to discover the mysteries of Chernobyl.
Excuse me?
I start by speaking with the camp leader. He offers to introduce me to a local schizophrenic who might be able to help. But first, he needs me to do a job for him. The job isn't important. Just know that by accepting, you have irreversibly set in motion an 18-hour-long chain of, sure, Stalker, I can help you out, but first, you need to do this for me. I'll be honest, I don't remember a lot of the details for the first quest, because as soon as I left the town, my survival instincts kicked in, at which point I ran into the wilderness and started bathing in stagnant water, making sure to drink as much of it as possible before punching out the windows of a nearby car, to fill my pockets with glass in case I got hungry. Fair warning, role-playing in this way did result in several people calling me retarded. In their defense, I probably am. After physically perforating a dozen people, I am put in contact with a local mystic known as the Shaman. In real life, both of these terms are practical synonyms for drug addict. Regardless, the Shaman explains some things to us. Somewhere in Chernobyl, there's a magic blue artifact of immeasurable power, and we are supernaturally drawn to it. This unnatural attraction is known as the Blessing. That might sound cool, but mostly it just results in us experiencing horrifying hallucinations.
So guys, we did it.
Why else did it go?
250,000 obese farting furries.
And waking up in different places. In fact, I'm pretty sure we're just epileptic. However, that's not the public perception. Being blessed in Chernobyl is like being an albino in Tanzania, because people are going to try to kill you and harvest your organs. And I don't know about you, but I'd prefer if my rectangular dick and balls weren't turned into powder and smoked by a local witch doctor. So we've got to keep our wits about us. The main quest line involves us being passed around by local magic men, with each one becoming more mentally ill than the last. We start by killing a few people for Shaman, no big deal. Then we seek out the Oracle, which requires us to develop prostate cancer several times, as he lives in the middle of a radiation field. Shortly after meeting him, Oracle is arrested for punching women in the street, so we move on to working with a clearly psychotic man living in a swamp. He canonically believes...
Looks like, you know... I don't know, the guy with the ski mask from the horror film. I just forgot his name. Jason Voorhees? Maybe? Hopefully. I don't watch too many horror movies, so... Yeah, I don't know. I think, like the ski mask.
Believes that he's the snake from a 1967 children's movie. He also sends us on a series of riddles that typically end with us sorting through a backpack full of dead rats. The more I interact with these people, the more I crave an absolute and immediate death. But I push on to meet my confused people.
Kozemiaka?
More I crave an absolute and immediate death, but I push on to meet my contractual obligations. After working your way through a conga line of the mentally deranged, you'll arrive at the bar. This is one of the few locations where bandits and stalkers can peacefully coexist, because an Eastern European's physiological need to be an alcoholic overrides all cultural and ethnic loyalties.
Indeed.
Basically, this is Dalaran, and if you understand that reference, I'll see you in the retirement home.
I don't
This
play
place has plenty of
World of
vendors,
Warcraft.
and it's usually pretty chill. Except one time, there was a rooftop sniper killing everyone, and we couldn't find him. Other than that, very nice
Okay.
place. Anyway, it's at the bar that we will be forced to choose a secondary faction to align ourselves with.
Okay.
Frontier is a paramilitary group that uses human wave tactics in an effort to destroy all mutants and gain control of Chernobyl. I am contractually not allowed to compare them to the Wagner PMC group, so I won't. Our other option is Rise. This is a group of anarcho-libertarians who are brave enough to posit that maybe, just maybe, Chernobyl would be better without any government oversight. I choose Rise purely because I think they're mentally challenged and it'll be funnier. After that, our new allies help us track down Oracle,
forgot
who was
how that
captured by
called.
an enemy gang called the Orderlies. I sneak into their top secret enemy base by simply saying I work here, and then we find Oracle. By this point in the game, I'm only reading like 30% of the dialogue,
Yeah, I
so the
can do
details are kind of spotty. But the gist of it is that the blue sphere is somewhere over here. However, it's being guarded by 5G towers that will melt your brain and turn you into a zombie if you get too close.
Okay.
Luckily, Oracle gives us his finest tinfoil hat and we escape via helicopter. But we have a pretty bad track record with helicopters, and it crashes shortly after takeoff. Dusting myself off from the explosion, I head straight for the blue sphere. The only thing standing in my way now is about 10,000 enemy AI. So, let it begin.
The music is nice. Cannot wait to get this muted or copyrighted. As always.
After all that, we're so close.
I should
The
look up
sphere is
that
in the
song.
next room, and to get there, we just have one final boss fight. Everyone up to this point was a guard, but this is the guard. I can't
Okay.
lie, I have mixed feelings about this boss.
I hate this fucking boss!
Yeah.
In order to kill him, we need to destroy the 6 power cells located on his body, while making sure to dodge his lasers, kill the
Just throw a
ads, stop him
grenade.
from recharging, all while continuously shoving first aid kits up our ass. In order for him to kill
Okay.
us, he just needs to touch us. You could say we're at a
Okay.
disadvantage, but after getting flattened about 20 times, you'll start to understand the dodging and become the Matador. At that point, you pretty much got him beat. Moving on from that,
Nice.
we head into the final room, where we find a generic Russian scientist who intends to use the power of the
Yes.
blue sphere to create an army of
Yes.
zombies and take over the
Priest.
world. Very cool, but
Kniaz. That sounds like in Czech Kniaz, and that's like priest.
do you have a gun? Because all of my friends do. The scientist makes his escape, but we firmly secured the sphere. There's just one problem. The orderlies showed up, along with all of our drug addict friends from earlier, and they're disagreeing on what to do with the sphere. The orderlies want to destroy it, whereas Shaman wants to use its power to enact his most depraved fantasies.
Ugh.
I can tolerate a lot, but gooning in this economy? I don't think so.
I would
This
side
kicks
with
off
myself.
a huge boss fight where Shaman and his druggies seize control of the sphere and start using it to summon an absolute shitload of mutants. If you don't have an automatic weapon for this part, you're simply not completing it. Eventually, Shaman fully absorbs the power of the sphere and starts saying a bunch of homoerotic stuff.
It's only gay if you receive, don't worry.
After depositing 90 pounds of lead into his cranium, we drain his health bar and break his psychic powers. This causes a hard cut from the boss fight directly into a cutscene where we shoot him in the face, which for some reason I found very funny. I think I was a bit delirious at this point. Either way, that does it.
Okay.
Shaman is dead, the sphere is destroyed, and hundreds of thousands of people who are being controlled by it simply go insane and die on the spot.
Oh, I see. So there was monolith. That was under this something akin to monolith in normal STALCRAFT.
This is as
I
close
see.
to a happy ending as Eastern Europe will ever get. In conclusion,
Yeah, that's
STALCRAFT
true.
X, one of the best games I've played all day. I want to thank Expo for sponsoring this video. Big thanks to the Grim Cleaper for recording with me
Jurgen
for 2
Devourer.
hours before blowing himself up with a grenade.
Goodbye, father.
Also, don't forget to try STALCRAFT X today using code SM25REGGIE to receive free equipment, 3 days premium access, and my undying adoration. And finally, thank you for watching.
Honestly, great video by Reggie. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully, yeah, people enjoyed it too. Plus, honestly, a great video by him. Maybe I should check more. I knew this Fallout 4. Yeah, maybe I should check more of it from him. But yeah, I will probably check more from him. I think so. Expect more videos from him. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Also, maybe I could try the game one day on the stream, if I feel like it or people want it, honestly. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you like it, if you enjoyed the video, please consider liking, commenting, or subscribing. If you didn't like it, there's this like button that you can press to let me know, and you can always tell me in the comments what I should fix. So yeah, thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.